Hello friends, I have a very interesting and challenging positional exercise for all of you. This was a position that I played in one of the games, and my opponent played c7 to c5. This move was played not only by my opponent, but by numerous masters and grandmasters. However, it turns out to be a positional mistake. I would like you to pause the video and think, what would you play here if you had the white pieces? Can you find the move that punishes black for this move c5? And so it turns out that white has this very strong idea of playing d5, a strong positional move that works tactically. In a nutshell, it provides white a big space advantage. Now black's bishops are deprived from playing on the king side where white is going to conduct an attack, and also the black's knight cannot go to c6 square anymore. Of course, we see that the pawn is attacked more than it is protected, so white needs to find initiative if black is willing to take the pawn. So most of the grandmasters, they're actually taking on c3. In this position, we can also observe what happens if they're just taking the pawn on d5. White would be taking back, and knight to d5. No one has ever tested white by taking the pawn on d5. It simply is too dangerous, and I believe it's not hard to find an initiative for the white pieces. For example, we can take on d5, bishops takes d5. Now we have a classical discovered attack on the bishop to win back our pawn. Takes on h7, king takes h7, queen takes d5. Now the rook is trapped, so only move is knight to c6, and even a calm positional move of b3, preparing bishop to b2, gives white a big advantage. Black does not have enough defensive pieces around the king. We want to play moves like queen to h5, maybe then queen to g4 to connect the queen with the bishop. There are ideas of knight f4, rook d1, a very easy development for the white pieces, and there is a pawn to play against. Our pieces are going to be better, especially the bishop on b4 seems to be misplaced. I would love it to be on squares like f6 or c7 for black, and the king is also seem to be vulnerable. So white can develop quite a big initiative and win the pawn back with a very good game. In case after d5 they take twice. Now let's take a look at another alternative, which is what usually people plays. Bishop takes c3, simply exchanging that bishop, which we didn't like before. Now knight takes c3. And most of the players in this position go for pawn to d6. Once again, accepting the pawn on d5 is rather dangerous. For example, takes on d5, c takes d5, knight takes d5, and here a move queen f3 seems to be winning a piece. There is no way to protect the knight a second time, and there is also a pin. For example, knight takes c3, queen b7, and rook is hanging. And then on the next move, we're simply gonna take the knight and be a piece up, for example. And there are no queen traps, so white is just a piece up. So after takes on c3, usually black in the game plays d6, and here white just have pina colada type position. That's why I call very, very easy and good positions to play. So e4 is a likely move to be played. For example, knight bd7. Now, because the center is closed, white is not afraid of black launching counterplay in the middle, so white is having all of the conditions to start playing on the wing. For example, f4, rook e8, and g4 was seen in one of the games. E takes d5, e takes d5, and here the position I think is close to decisive. I don't know how to defend this attack with the black pieces. On the next move, white plays g5. Our pieces are simply much better than black's. Bishops are looking at the king side. This bishop is not playing. Knight is not well placed on d7, and it doesn't have next squares to go to. The knight of f6 is going to be kicked away with g5. On the next move, we have squares like knight e4, and white with the kingside attack I think has very good practical chances to win the game. So if we come back, don't play c5. Many grandmasters played that and lost the game quite early on in those positions that we observed. And in fact, the best moves for black here would be to play d5 first. For example, white can try to win the bishop pair with a3. Black plays bishop d6. For example, now knight g3, as the function of the knight from e2 was just to take back on c3 in case they take. For example, d takes c4, bishop takes c4, c5, and we have close to an equality position over here. Black equalized in space advantage, white still has the bishop undeveloped on c1, and this is much better than the move c5 that we observed. I hope you enjoyed this idea and the video. If you did, please subscribe to my chess channel. You can also consider hire me as your personal online chess coach. That's my full-time job for many years. My contacts are on the right. Stay safe, my friends, and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.